becomes a practice where you're doing it regularly. You know, I usually do about 20 minutes of breathing or so in the morning, every morning. I don't really need that much to really create, 20 to 30 tops. If you're trying to alter the physiology enough to, really the method is it's like an internal yoga system. You're stretching in various ways to create resiliency from the center so that you have a strong homeostatic base, which means that, stress affects you less, essentially. The thing about though is that you really don't have to do that much of it if it's maintenance. But there are other ways to approach it too. If you are wanting maybe a deep, like cleansing, almost spiritual, whatever you want to kind of put to it, trippy, you can definitely get, you can definitely bend the edges of consciousness with this if you are really getting after it, that is something that you're going to put a little more effort into, and it's going to take you a little longer. So you're going to do more rounds. You're going to try to go deeper with it. If that's the goal, Another use might be that you actually start to feel bad, like you're maybe start to feel sickness coming on. That's the time that Wim would say, absolutely sit down and start doing the breath work, because you're trying to change your physiology at that point. It's like the fight is on. You have some type of pathogen, something that's affecting you internally. And so if you use the breath there, you actually are trying to utilize, by changing the pH, which we are doing with this breath work. So the more you blow out, breathe off CO2, and have that gas exchange, you lower your CO2. You lower your CO2, you raise your pH, in effect. So we've seen the changes. Your basic pH to the human body is like 7.3. 7.3 is healthy pH. Slight fluctuations mean a difference. So if you have the ability to raise your pH up to say 8, which is what we've shown, it has a significant effect on the body. And it is a cleansing effect. You don't want to stay super alkaline, but raising your alkalinity briefly has a profound effect on the body, and it is something that you can utilize as a tool to fight against pathogen, to create resistance. And what the Wim Hof method has shown over the last 10 years, there's been 10 years of research on this. There's not 10 years of research on any breathing method in the world other than the Wim Hof method. And one university has done it in the Netherlands. And basically what they've shown is over studying it with people, what they're doing is they're injecting people with endotoxin, which should create the flu, essentially, in the person. And what they've shown is a 85% reduction in flu-like symptoms by utilizing the method. So they'll give the person the endotoxin injection and let them work it for about an hour and a half. Though they say the peak experience is around 45 minutes. This is from the scientists at the university. And they're saying that within that 45 minutes, they see an 85% reduction in flu-like symptoms across the board. That's huge. The Netherlands is now accepting the Wim Hof method under insurance. You know what I mean? So that's pretty profound. Yeah. So it's our way. Wim is not, his insight was just do the work, but he had a lot of great teachers, and he learned all over the place, and ultimately he was just doing it. And, so we put it to the test, and that's where we get the results from. The trick is that this is ancient, and we're just utilizing the body's, how ancient is the breath? So we're utilizing the body's natural abilities that are underutilized, because we believe that we should just lay back and let Western medicine or whatever take care of us, and let the autonomic function do its thing. But the reality is that you can step into it and take things on. And I think we all know that in regards to stress. But this method has shown that if you just sit down and breathe, that you can cleanse the system in regards to internal pathogen. It's pretty cool. So that is my offering to you today. Train it when you need it. That's the point. Or use it as a maintenance practice that you do all the time. You gonna ask something?
Are you still doing like the ooh ah ee? Because I haven't heard you say that this year at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I try. My thing is like I don't like to overcomplicate it. So that's something that we can work with today, though. If you want to, at any point in time, you can add it in. The idea of the ooh ah ee is just intonations at specific regions of the body. So we think about like the abdominal chamber here, right, from the pelvic floor up to the diaphragm. Then the thoracic chamber, which is your rib cage, up to, say, the glottis muscle, right? And then the glottis muscle up to the crown of the head. So we know that babies' heads shift, right? You come out, they have plates, and they form after birth. And so in what we talk about in our breathing is trying to breathe all the way up to the head with each breath. Bring the breath up. Expand, it's the way I look at it is it's it's like a pulse. Everything's expanding from the pelvic floor all the way up. What you're controlling when you're breathing is not your lungs, right? Everybody knows that. You're controlling the muscles. So the better you can optimize the musculature, the longer and more powerful you can get deep breaths, let's say. The longest breath hold I think right now underwater is something like 27 minutes or 28 minutes. Pretty profound. We're very amphibian. We have this ancient mammalian dive response that we can recruit that allows us to hold our breath and suppress our need to breathe for a long time, and that's just by water hitting the face. It creates that connection. There's you guys ever heard of the sea gypsies? I like to talk about them. They're a group of people that live in Indonesia. They live on barges pretty much their whole lives, and they have a genetic now evolution that's occurred in their spleen, where their spleen is actually, they're born with larger spleens, and they're born this way. You know what I mean? So this is the actual evolution, and it allows them to be able to hold their breath for longer periods of time underwater. They can hold their breath for 5 or 6 minutes while they're spearfishing underwater on a single breath, and their eyes have altered slightly to be able to deal better with light because of the light reflecting off of the water. It's pretty crazy. National Geographic's done a bunch of stuff on them. Sea gypsies. All right, got everybody?
Could you open the window?
Before you get started, can you just mention...
The ooh ah ee, I forgot about that too.
Well, not only that, but just if you have any plans for today or what the schedule is like today.
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's kind of hard to talk about.
We're going to Zion, and we're going to petroglyphs, and we're going to the canyon overlook, and we can go down to... Actually, the Virgin River was clear yesterday, not orange.
Oh, good.
So if you want to jump in afterwards, you can bring your swimsuit too.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go swimming down there.
Virgin River, we can take a group photo.
Lake or whatever?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, since we're already be down there.
Okay.
Either way.
Right on.
Yeah.
Woo!
What? How was supposed to suggest that? A group photo, like. Well, he already said group photo. At the end of every sentence, I like to say group photo. All right, so let's do some breathwork group photo.
All right, guys. So go back to that ooh ah ee. If you want to implement something like that into the breathing, the idea is that the ooh comes, that sound resonates in the abdominal chamber. So basically in the beginning of the breath, if you're breathing in, you can think of the ooh as the belly, the ah as the chest, and the e as the head. So it's like ooh, and so you're intonating those tones as you're bringing the breath up. Okay, and that helps to give the breath like a sense of direction when you're doing it. It's not something you need to get too concerned with. If you want to use it, you can. You just want to get a good deep breath. The breath should go all the way down to the pelvic floor.
Who's in the back of my truck?
You want to feel it deep, so you want to feel an expansion all the way down to the pelvic floor. You want to, the diaphragm, allow the diaphragm to work. The diaphragm moves down with each breath. So you're creating space below the diaphragm for volume above the diaphragm. Cool? Everybody good? So we're going to push a little bit today. Let you guys get in, get some rounds. Take a few deep breaths on your own. Just kind of get yourself in a good space. Best to breathe through the mouth for this method, but it's not necessary. You can breathe however you like. We're trying to create constriction when we do this breathing. Constriction happens by breathing through the mouth. Dilation happens more by breathing through the nose. We bring in nitric oxide when we breathe through the nose, and that opens up our vascularity. We're trying to create constriction. This gives us more, a quicker kind of entrance into the adrenals so that we can utilize the adrenaline faster, which is what we're trying to build up in the system. Okay? Big breath in, fully in. Let it go. Big breath in. Fully in. Two minutes of breathing. Fully in. Let go. 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 We start a little slower. Let everybody get warmed up and get into space. You can just keep your eyes nice and closed.
concentration with each breath hold. Let the body dictate when the breath is needed. Push yourself deep into the hole. Hold focus, and that is